Good Friday, everyone. It's Chat with Mac. We're thankful and we're happy to have you, everyone that's new. Thank you for joining us also. Nadeem, how's it going, sir?
Oh, going great. Can't be better.
Busy week, I take it?
Yeah. A busy week, but it's uh, a lot of new stuff and
Yeah,
both from a good and bad way, right? So there's a lot of technology stuff going on, which is good.
yeah,
There's also a lot of bad like hacking slash breaching stuff going on, which is bad, but
yeah.
still exciting, but not in a very good way.
It's always good, I guess with the good comes the bad, I guess is what you can say. But, with technology, technology is an ever evolving beast. It's crazy how rapidly it changes. And one of those changes that has been actually kind of weird. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. With Apple, for the longest time, you weren't able to run Microsoft products. Am I correct on that?
No, I think I know where you're going with this.
Yeah.
So with Apple, you've been able to run a
Oh,
lot
okay.
of the Microsoft stuff with things like Boot Camp or VMware Fusion or Parallels. So you've been able to run Windows on a Mac. The problem is Apple decided to introduce their own chipset, their own chips, their own
Hmm.
CPUs, and that's the M1 chip that everybody's hearing about.
Yep.
The What that means is that since the M1 chip is an ARM-based chipset, it is a very different technology compared to the x86 chipset, which was what Intel and AMD make.
Hmm.
The and I don't want to get into too much detail, but the x86 chipset is the CISC chipset. That's what it's called. It's a complex instruction set chipset, CISC. That's what it's called, is CISC. The ARM chipset is a RISC chipset. That's reduced instructions set chipset, RISC. So these are fundamental differences between how these chips interpret instructions,
Hmm.
right? Um, and and that's why, just based on the type of chips they are, one chip is very energy efficient compared to the other chip. However, the CISC chip can push a lot of instructions together and do a lot of complex instructions within the chip itself at the hardware level, while the RISC chipset will break them down and only do the simple instructions. It'll do the reduced set of instructions.
Mm.
And of course, logically, if you think about it, you're like, well, I want a CISC chip. If it's a complex instruction set chipset, that's got to be good, right? Complex is good, right? Well, that's not really accurate, because what happens is, if you can reduce your instruction set, you can run many more instructions in a certain amount of time, as opposed to if you're doing complex instructions, you can only do so many in a certain amount of time. And that's where the energy efficiency comes in, is because that instruction set is totally different. So for whatever reason, Apple decided to go back to a RISC chip. I say go back to, because remember, originally Apple's used to use the G4 chipset from IBM, which was a RISC
Hmm.
chipset. Then they went to Intel, and now they're going back to their own chip, which is again a RISC chip. Um, so people who are using Boot Camp on Intel Macs, well, they have a problem because Boot Camp is not going to run on the M1 chip. So now the problem will go, well, how are you going to run Windows on an M1 Mac? I mean, you because Windows it runs on x86 chipset. It runs on the CISC chipset. So of course, people are saying and thinking, well, you will run Windows on ARM, Windows that runs on the Surface Pro X device, right?
Uh-huh.
That's Windows on ARM. The problem is Windows on ARM will not run 64-bit apps,
Okay.
right? So if you were using 64-bit Microsoft Word or 64-bit Microsoft Excel, it's not going to run on Windows on ARM. It's only going to run on the regular Windows.
Yep.
So, and that's part of the reason why the Windows Pro X did not just take off like it should have, because there are a lot of limitations. Now, with an update, Microsoft is bringing an emulation layer to Windows on ARM.
Oh, okay.
So when that comes out, then now you'll be able to run those 64-bit apps on Windows on ARM. And at the same time, Parallels is bringing their Windows on ARM support to the M1 chipset. So if you're using Parallels on your Mac, Parallels is just a virtualization technology. So if you're running Parallels on your Mac, you can install Windows on ARM on your M1 Mac. If you do that and Microsoft brings that emulation layer to Windows on ARM, now you can run Windows 64-bit on a Mac running under Windows on ARM. So that solves the issue of not being able to run apps on Windows and running Windows on a Mac. It's a little confusing,
okay.
but here's the technical issue that I have with it. I always like to run my stuff at the most optimal peak performance I can. And emulation is not going to cut it for me. Whenever you introduce an emulation layer into the picture, it will slow things down, because what emulation means is a translator. So there's got to be some translation layer between the Windows on ARM and the x86 chip, instruction set that's translating. Whenever you're translating, you're going to lose some performance.
Right.
So what I'm waiting on is waiting to see how good this emulation layer from Microsoft is and how well it performs, and if it's going to have an acceptable level of performance running on an ARM chip. So that's something that we have to wait and see what it comes down to. But historically, you don't want to run an emulation layer if you can help it at all.
So haven't there been, and I'm just speaking in general, I can remember, hey, help me with this. I can remember I was working for a company that didn't want to buy the whole Microsoft suite. So I think they were using, I don't know if it was necessarily
Open Office.
Maybe it was Open Office. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of companies use that.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. So, well, when I say a lot of companies, a lot of 5-user and 10-user companies use that.
Oh.
So it's okay if you're a small company, you can get by with it. You don't have to pay the licensing fees, and you can kind of show your user how to get things done. But keep in mind, things are in different places. Yeah. It is going to take some, there is a learning curve there. So it's going to take some time for users to get up to speed and be able to do most of what they can do in Excel or Word or whatever have you. The formats are, you can export and import between the applications, but the thing is, things are in different places. How you get things done are slightly in different places. Mm-hmm. It's back to like in the old days when you used to have Word and you used to have WordStar. There were some diehard fans of WordStar, and then there were some diehard fans of Word. And I could care less. I mean, it was like it's just a word processor. Who cares really? Like, right? But the thing about Microsoft is they may not always have the best technology, but they have enough resources that they put their resources and might behind a certain technology. They make sure that that's the only one that's going to survive. Everything else is going to die out. So that's and that's just Microsoft. They are keen at doing that. Every company has their niche, and that's Microsoft's niche. Excuse me. With Satya's leadership at Microsoft is kind of becoming more of that technological company again. Before in Steve Ballmer's days, it was more of a marketing company. Now they're moving back to a technology company. Yeah. So I think we're going to get there. But But as far as these Mac M1 chips go, I'm really considering going back to a MacBook. I'm really torn, and the reason I say that is, look, when it comes to my tools, I'm real picky. I mean,
You have to
the
be.
one thing that a worker does not want is his tool to break.
Yeah.
Because when a tool breaks,
Yeah.
everything comes to a standstill. So when I'm using my phone, I don't want my phone to stop working. And that's why I don't jailbreak it. I don't root it. I don't do anything with it. It's just supposed to do what it's supposed to do. And it's supposed to do that well. And I'm supposed to be able to rely on it. My Microsoft Surface laptop, and this is the second one, mind you, it got replaced in warranty. Now it's not in warranty anymore. But I'm having issues with the trackpad. I've never had issues with any Mac ever with the trackpad. Just never had them. I don't know what to say. Microsoft, if you're listening, come on. I mean,
honestly speaking, Nadeem, I meant to actually send you a message during a work day this week. I recently got a Microsoft Surface, and I don't know what the heck was going on with the trackpad, but it was not. I actually had to cut off my computer on my laptop and put it back on because the trackpad wasn't responding, and I'm in the middle of a call trying to type notes, and I'm missing what the person is saying because my trackpad wasn't acting right. So it's funny you should say
always have pen and paper next to you.
Funny thing is, the funny thing is that I use a pen and paper to keep track of my calls. And now, what I'm going to start doing is just take them on notes because, this thing hasn't been. I don't know what's going on.
If your trackpad fails, you can still touch the screen. You know that, right?
And I keep forgetting I have a touch screen. Totally forgot about that.
So I'm a little more pickier than that, right? I know I can touch the screen, but I don't want to. I mean, I don't want to use it as a touchscreen. I mean, it's not a friggin' tablet. It's a laptop, and I want to use it as a laptop. Right. If I wanted to use as a tablet, I would go to my iPad, which never lets me down. So the thing is, now with me, it was like, sometimes it was taking a click and sometimes it wasn't taking a click. And it's happened 2 or 3 times. It will kind of start happening and then it will fix itself. It'll go away. So I'm thinking it's like a hardware issue. And because the first few times it happened, I was like, okay, I better check the warranty status on this machine. And I checked it and it was out of warranty, of course. And I'm like, it's, I don't know, maybe I'm just asking too much. But all of my Macs and MacBooks that I've had, I've never had an issue like this with the trackpad. And granted, I mean, they're one of the best trackpads out there, bar none. I mean, Apple has that cornered.
Yeah.
But stuff should not fail like this. I mean, it's not like I abuse my laptop. It's the only thing that my laptops get is the keys get rubbed off, right? Because I mean, I'm just typing all the time, and like on this one, the A key. Well, granted, so on my Mac, the lettering got rubbed off. On this one, the lettering is not getting rubbed off, but I can see the indentations in it. Like on a floor that you walk so many times and it gets that. It's like it's like I'm getting these indentations on like the A key and the semicolon key, and so I'm getting these indentations in them with heavy use, and that I'm okay with that. That's fine, but the trackpad not taking my click, that's a deal breaker for me. When I click, I wanted to take the damn click.
Exactly.
I mean, I know I can touch the screen, but I shouldn't have to change my process because a piece of hardware is failing.
I agree. I do.
So I might be going back to a MacBook Pro. And if I do go back to a MacBook Pro, it's probably going to have an M1 chip because, I'm going to love that battery life. And if it is going to have an M1 chip, I am going to install Parallels on it, and I am going to stick Windows on there because some of my applications will only run on Windows.
Windows, yeah.
So we'll see how that goes, and I'll report back what my findings are, and we'll do like a comparison and stuff. But I try so hard to like Microsoft hardware, but they're getting it to 80%. They're just not getting it to 90%. If they can get it to 90%, I'll be happy. But
yeah,
they're getting it to 90%. It's that 80%. And I don't know why it is. I mean, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, this is my actual big Microsoft purchase. I think up until this, I was using more. Can we call them knockoff? I did have a MacBook at one point, and I played so many games on it that it died. And I played a lot. I was playing Ages and Empires. I was playing all these RTS games, and eventually just poof. And then so I went to what do you call this? Lenovo's and all of them, and they were okay, but they only had like a year and a half shelf life, whereas
I've never had anything like that last me for more than a year.
Year.
This Surface laptop has lasted me more than a year. That's why the warranty's expired. But my MacBook was the first device. It was a MacBook Pro 17-inch. It was the first device that lasted me a little over 5 years, and that's unheard of from me. I mean, it just always worked, and I don't know. I mean, I hate to go back to a 1-year lifetime of a device like this. I'd rather spend more money and get my device and customize it and be good for 3 to 5 years. Maybe it's just asking too much, but I'm gonna go back to MacBook Pros and see what. I'm just waiting for the next version to come out with the big screen and the M1 chip.
Mm-hmm.
If nothing else, hopefully it won't be kicking the fans in when we're recording these videos like it is right now. But yeah, so I mean, so everybody who's kind of watching this, let us know. Do you want me to write up something about my experience with a Mac M1, or should I even try it, or have you tried it? What are your thoughts? What have you encountered? Do you like the M1 chip on the MacBook Pro, and has it caused any issues for you? So yeah, I mean, let us know, and if we get enough responses, maybe I'll just have to buy one just to test them out, because that's what people want. We got to do what people want.
You got to do what people want. Yeah, at the end of the day,
it'll be an excuse to just go and get one of those MacBooks.
Actually, you got, won't lie to you, got me thinking. I mean, even though MacBooks are kind of out there, but man, the quality, you can't really, the quality, I mean, it works, it's sturdy, it's super powerful. So, I don't know. I'm going to look into that this weekend and see what's coming out and budget for that, because I need something strong. With everything that I do on this laptop, I need something strong. Yeah.
So I think you might be able to make a MacBook work, because most of your stuff is the Office apps, which will run natively on a Mac.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're doing OneNote or your Office apps, things like that, I think you can make it work. And most of my apps, I can make it work as well. The only thing is we have our line of business app, the one that we use on the engineering side of things, and that one requires, the admin interface requires a PC. So it's, I mean, I say it requires, it's just reduced functionality on the Mac side. So I might still be able to make it work, but it's going to be reduced functionality. But yeah, let us know, reply back or comment back. Let us know what you think, if I should look at the MacBook with the M1 chip and do a review on it. I don't do those unboxing video things. I don't do that, but
this might be the first one you do.
No, but I will do a deep video about how it works and that process. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, in the meantime, you know, I'm kind of, it's going to be one of those days when this trackpad just stops working on me, and hopefully it doesn't let me down that way. But the good thing is, you know, if it totally fails, at least I can touch the screen still, you know. But
Thank you for reminding me. I'll do that next time. I totally forgot. So totally forgot. By
so
the
yeah,
way, ladies and gentlemen, May 13th, you don't want to miss it. Nadeem we're doing our securing your business webinar. Nadeem will be answering questions. He's going to do a short presentation, but then he's going to be answering questions. And like I said, if you really, I know a lot of people, I call people all day, a lot of pressing questions that they have. Since everything seems to be changing, this would be your chance to really ask Nadeem some questions, you know, that, you know, you've had in the back of your mind, you know. And so I really encourage you. It's going to be at 9 a.m. Yeah, it's going to be at 9 a.m. May 13th. It is, of course, virtual. Write any questions that you have. We're going to send out eVite. So if you want to register, call in, email me or Nadeem. We'll send you an eVite. We'll get you registered, and it's going to be a great webinar.
yeah. So the idea is going to be, I'm going to do like a 20-minute presentation just to bring everybody to the same level, and then we're going to do a 10-minute Q&A, and it's going to be an open Q&A. So ask your question. I'm going to answer your questions. One of the things I was thinking about was actually earlier today, I got a question from another IT company. They're based out of Canada, but so I work with a lot of different, you know, IT companies out there. They're not affiliated with us, but you know, it's our group of IT companies that, you know, we just help each other out. So these guys were asking me, you know, what do we do for MFA? How do we manage MFAs, multi-factor authentications, and what about customers who have had a bad experience with Office 365 and multi-factor authentication? And I was like, you know, this is a great question to bring up in our Q&A, but you know, it's another IT company in Canada and really not what I want to spend my time talking to. I'd rather spend my time talking to people in Texas.
Yep.
So if you have any questions like that, you know, feel free to sign up, bring it in. I'll answer any questions. And you know, I don't have answers to all the questions, but I know where to find the answer. So if I don't have answers to a question, I'll find the answer for it and get back with you.
Yeah. Awesome.
So everybody have a great day. We're going to call it at that, and we'll see you hopefully on May 13, 9 a.m. And we have a hard stop at 9:30, so 9 to 9:30. That's going to be it.
We hope to see you guys there. You have a good one.
Great. Thank you.